What is going on, people? This is the JT Sports Show, episode 20. We have gotten to 20. Jackson Borst is on once again because he is one of the most knowledgeable sports minds in the state of Minnesota. Borsty, I appreciate you coming on. Yeah, of course.
I could say the same for you too. I believe that.
Well, if it'd be a bad thing if I wasn't, because that's all I do is watch sports, and so it's pretty easy. Quite honestly, people say, "How do you know all this stuff?" It's from sitting and watching.
It's the passion. It's the passion for the game.
That's true. There's been a little lull. Not a lot of episodes lately. Started a new job. Been super busy, but once the Wolves season starts, especially, and the Vikings, if they continue to win. It's just
going to be rapid fire. It's going to be rapid fire like the playoffs.
My hope, and we can talk about this, but my hope is that we do one every Sunday or Monday, depending on whatever, and then every Thursday. Thursday is probably the day that works best for me. If you're going to be on, that's fine. If you're not, I can do it solo. I can have guests on. But Thursdays, previewing that weekend's Vikings game, Gophers game, and then talking about the Wolves, what's going on. So that's the plan going forward. Maybe we'll mix in a couple of more episodes depending on what's going on. Maybe some breaking news episodes if anything happens. Hopefully nothing bad happens, only good. Yeah. But anyways, let's talk about the Vikings. Let's dive in. Then we'll talk about the Wolves and maybe a little Gophers at the end. The Vikings, they beat the Bears 21-3 in the first half, right? Is that what that was? No. Was that the score after the first? Either way, they were up 21-3 at one point. The Bears climb back. They take the lead 22-21. And then the Vikings, doing what they've done this whole year, go and score a long touchdown drive.
Yeah.
When they needed it most. And you could point at many things for that. Kirk Cousins plays a large part in that. I think the new head coach, the new coaching staff could play a large part in what's going on with the Vikings. This team last year probably is not 4-1.
No, I think they're probably 1-3.
They might be 2-2. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. They might be 2-2. They lose that Eagles game. They might have won that Lions game. I don't know. They might have won that Bears game. I don't know.
They lose the Lions game.
Well, you can't just go based
off. And they lose the Saints game.
You can't just go based off what happens in the last 5 minutes, because the whole game would have been different if Mike Zimmer was coaching his team.
You kind of can.
No, because the whole scheme is different. Nothing would have been the same. And so who knows what would have happened last year. Either way, KOC is doing a good job. Kirk Cousins is playing solid. I've talked to somebody close with the Vikings team. He is very impressed with Kirk Cousins. For what Kirk has had to go through in this new scheme under Kevin O'Connell, it's very impressive to what Kirk has done to this point. Overall, thoughts on Kirk Cousins right now?
Pretty good. He's winning games. He's coming in the clutch when it's most important. Honestly, a couple of his interceptions I'm not really that mad at. The only ones that I hated were in Philly. Those were terrible. Absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
Last weekend, I don't know. The guy just made a play, honestly. I think the Chicago player just kind of made a play.
Kirk talked about that after the game. He said that throw was based off of what he saw earlier in the game. And so he usually throws that flat route off to the side, takes 5 yards. Yeah. He said earlier in the game he threw that flat route and he felt like he should have gone down the field. That time he went down the field, didn't go the flat route, and it bit him in the butt. So that I don't put a lot of stock
I think he's been good. I think he's been good. I think he's only going to get better too. I think he's going to limit the turnovers as he gets more familiar with the offense. And I think it's only going to get higher and higher.
We'll get to the defense soon, but I was looking on Twitter right before we started this, and I saw a tweet of all the defensive lines and how effective they are, every team in the NFL. The Bears, and we'll get to the Vikings, trust me. Well, the Bears are one of the least effective and smallest threat, as they put it on the tweet, defensive lines. So I'm not surprised that Kirk had all the time in the world and Kirk sort of diced him up. That's what he does when he has all the time. But the running game, that was what I was most impressed by. Dalvin finally got going. It felt like last year and years prior, Dalvin would go off 13-yard run, 14-yard run all the time. This year, it hasn't happened. Against the Bears, that was the first time that Dalvin was stringing those runs together. And I think that opens the offense up, and I think that is a very positive thing for going forward.
Agree, especially with the play action.
Yeah. When Kirk has a running game, Kirk is lethal because the play action is exactly. And that's same with the Gophers. When they lost to Purdue last weekend, the running game was the worst I've seen it in years under PJ Fleck, and that there's a reason that Tanner Morgan struggled. So we'll get to the Gophers,
I just love play action so much. Yeah, it's just the best.
It works, and teams like just drop back every time. It works so often, but unless you have Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback or Josh Allen, it's just not very successful. So it's a smart way of going about it with the Vikings, and luckily the Vikings have done that for Kirk's entire tenure, basically.
Well,
whether it was Kubiak,
they didn't do it nearly enough. They didn't do it nearly enough in years past. This year, we're really using it, and it's working.
I don't know. It might be more successful this year, but they did run a crap load. That was the whole offensive scheme under Kubiak. The only coordinator that didn't do that was John DeFilippo, and he got canned after 5 weeks because he wouldn't run the ball. I'm sure behind the scenes.
What year was that?
That was 2018, 19, one of those 2 years.
I think was it 18? I don't know.
I can only imagine the behind the scenes of Mike Zimmer and John DeFilippo. What went on in that office on those Monday and Tuesdays watching the film after those 5 weeks that he was here? I can only imagine. But
remember, DeFilippo was getting head coaching buzz too, and then that season happened, and then it just.
Well, you remember that? Remember that year they had that game Thursday night against the Rams where Kirk threw for 400 yards. The Vikings and Rams went back and forth. Yes. People thought DeFilippo was the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
That was just a one-off. I mean, talk about a one-off.
That was a sick game. That was a sick game.
Those are the games that I feel like the Vikings might need to win some this year because, for example, when they go to Buffalo, they are not stopping the Bills' offense.
We were texting about this. Yeah.
Yeah, the Bills can score as many points as they want, quite honestly, watching their offense. So that'll be scary, and I'm going to chalk that one up as a loss. But
me as well.
I'm gonna give you credit. Hold on. I'm going to give you some credit here. We talked about after that Eagles game, we went through the records. You had them going 13-4. I said 10-7. 13-4 is looking good now because the schedule is very favorable.
Yeah.
Besides the Bills game, and the Cowboys might be difficult.
Yeah.
The Patriots, I think we win that game at home.
It's at home.
But and the Packers on the road. Those 3 games I think are fairly difficult. The rest, Vikings should be favored.
I know.
Vikings should win them. Quite honestly, they're not going to win them all. They just probably won't. They'll drop 1, maybe 2. And maybe they win 1 or 2 of those games that are difficult, whether it's on the road at the Packers. They're not beating the Bills. They just aren't. They could beat the Cowboys at home. That points to a 13-4 record, maybe 12-5. I would say the highest likely record right now is probably 12-5. But that's good. That's really good. Yeah. As a first-year head coach, Kevin O'Connell, that's really good.
That's probably a 3 seed, or maybe even probably not 2 seed.
Maybe. I mean, the NFC is not great. The NFC's not great. The NFC East, people are freaking talking all the hype about the NFC East right now. That'll fumble a little bit. I mean, the Giants aren't going to be
they are not
as good as they are.
No.
Brian Daboll's getting all the praise, which he should be. I mean, they're 4-1. They just beat the Packers, but they're not going to be anything scary, in my opinion, when it comes to the playoffs.
That will not last.
The Cowboys could be really good. Now, people are talking about whether if Cooper Rush, if Dak Prescott is ready, I'll ask you this question. If he's ready, but Cooper Rush keeps winning, do you bring Dak Prescott back? Or do you just win?
I think I do. But
I do
they're not winning because of Cooper Rush. They're winning because of their defense.
I agree. Cooper Rush threw for 100 yards against the Rams.
Yeah. Exactly.
I want to talk about the Rams after this real quick because they're so bad. But
Terrible.
I would wait until the Cowboys lose until Cooper Rush takes the seat. Because and another thing, Cooper Rush, people are saying Cooper Rush could be a starting quarterback. No, he can't. Cooper Rush will never be a
I don't
starting
know.
quarterback. And
I
no,
haven't
no,
seen enough to decide that.
no. He could be a
I think a
backup.
team will probably
And
give him a chance this offseason. Potentially, I don't know. Maybe just make him the highest paid backup.
He's basically just a better version of Sean Mannion. He could be a backup quarterback for as long as he wants in this league. I'm sure he's a good locker room guy. He'll make decent. He'll make really good money for never playing. But just a great backup. He's never going to be a long-term starter in this league, in my opinion. The Rams, who the Cowboys just played, I have a something I was thinking about. They have been horrible. One of the worst offenses in the NFL with Cooper Kupp. They don't know how to use Allen Robinson. Tyler Higbee's playing pretty well. Their running game is bad. Matt Stafford is bad.
He just looks
Wonder
terrible.
why. Who did they lose as their offensive coordinator? Kevin O'Connell. Do you think that has any part to do with it? Because I think it has a major factor.
I don't know if it's a major. I think maybe a little bit. O'Connell and Stafford were, super close. That could be something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It might be a little bit of the Super Bowl hangover, but Stafford just looks bad. He really does.
Like a Super Bowl hangover would be like they're losing close games. Like they look decent, but they're just not winning. No.
Yeah.
This team looks bad. That Rams team is bad. So
I don't even know if they make the playoffs. I think they probably will.
No, I don't know. I don't think they will because their offensive line has been horrible. So that's interesting. The Packers game. You watched that London game against the Giants?
I did. I didn't watch all of it, but I watched bits and pieces. I don't really know how they lost. I got to be honest.
Their defense is just coming into this season.
Kind of sucks.
Their defense coming into this season, it was supposed to be one of the best in the NFL. It has not been. I was watching the Pat McAfee show. Ty Schmidt, the big Packers fan on that show, was talking about how this defense had all the hype, and it's just the same as it's been for the last 10 years. Just aggressively mediocre. And Aaron Rodgers just doesn't look the same. And I think that has a lot to do with the receivers he has because he doesn't have Devontae Adams anymore. But Aaron Rodgers,
do too. But I thought he looked nice. I thought he looked really good in that game for a little bit.
Well, yeah, I mean he's still a great quarterback.
The ending he was terrible, but
I
think it has a lot to do with Devontae. Yeah,
he doesn't have the weapons he had, and I don't know if he's taken a step, like a half a step back. Maybe he has, but that's going to come at some point. He's getting old. Aaron Rodgers is getting old. He can't maneuver the pocket quite as well anymore. He's throwing more balls away than I've ever seen him throw away. So we'll see with the Packers. I still think they make the playoffs. I think the Vikings are the favorites to win the North right now, but we'll see about that.
Yes.
Let's talk about the Vikings defense. I said I wanted to get to that. I told you about that tweet I saw. The Bears were one of the worst. The Vikings were also one of the worst. Defensive line, edge rushers, Danielle Hunter, Zadarius Smith. That tandem coming into the season was supposed to be elite. It has been far from that.
And they should be. I feel like they should be. That's the thing.
Well, changing
great
schemes.
Players. I think it's just the scheme.
Yeah, Danielle is playing a different scheme than he usually has. He's not whatever they talk about. He's not in 3-point stance anymore. He's playing more, running around more. He's not just making a beeline at the quarterback every single play, so that could have something to do with it. But that's not going to change. Like, they're not just going to change the whole scheme. So I don't see what could change. This whole defense, this scheme doesn't look like it's changing anytime soon. It seems like they're just going to be this bend but don't break defense all season long. How far that can take them, I am not sure. But
look, as long as they give up no more than like 24 points a game, that could potentially be fine, right?
Yeah.
I just don't go over that because our offense should be able to score more than that every single game.
You know, it feels like this defense is like as bad as last year's, but last year's defense scoring wise was like 27th or something, one of the worst in the league. This year is, I don't
really think. I don't.
You don't think that
last year's defense was just awful?
I know this year's defense feels almost as bad, but we're like one of the middle defenses in terms of scoring, which is a good thing, I guess. But I just don't
Yeah.
think the ceiling of this defense is not high. The floor is, I guess, not that low, but it feels low. Justin Fields was playing pretty well at the end of the game. Like he was doing whatever he wanted to
I know
do.
your source. I know your source very close to the Vikings says that he has no hope for this defense. I disagree. I still think that it can get better. Like it's just still, the first year of this defensive coordinator, the first 5 weeks. I mean, and we're still winning. Like I have to think that it can get better.
Yeah, I mean, Dantzler, I did
I
see
don't think it get worse.
Dantzler's like the 15th ranked cornerback in on a PFF, which is pretty good. Dantzler has been pretty good. Do you like Hammer Dantzler?
Look, he's had weeks, but sometimes the first few weeks he was not good. The last couple weeks, Saints and whoever we just played, the Bears, he's been good.
Yeah,
big play at the end. Physical.
I think he has talent. He makes some boneheaded decisions sometimes, but he's a good tackler. Pat Pete gets thrown around or not thrown around, but turned around all the time. If you want to run a stop and go, it'll work against him every single time.
He still hasn't given up too many big plays though yet, but he has a huge challenge this week facing Tyreek, and he'll probably be up against Tyreek. So we'll see how he does. I think this will be the first real challenge for Tyreek.
I think there's a chance. The positive thing is that the Vikings' run defense was brutal coming into that Bears game. The Bears are one of the best rushing teams in the league, and they held them to like 80 yards or something, which is pretty good. The Dolphins, not a great running team. Mostert did have a good game this past weekend, but their pass game can be lethal. Now, they don't have Tua. If Teddy plays, he is a massive upgrade over Skylar Thompson, who is a bad. But
still not great. Still not great.
Not great, but he can win them games. Like Teddy is, honestly, in my opinion, not that much worse than Tua. Tua just slings it around. No, you think Tua's a lot better?
I think he's a lot better this year.
Everywhere Teddy's gone, he's freaking won some games. Like he's a
I think he can win games against the Texans. I think he can win games against the Bears, the Lions, the Commanders, whoever. I don't think he can beat us.
He might not be able to beat us, but I think he could keep it close. Like I think this game will probably be close. Like you're going down to Miami. It's kind of a weird trip. The Vikings never seem to have success when they travel to Miami, even when the Dolphins are bad. But
that's true. That is true.
It'll be a tough challenge for our corners against Waddle and Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
So that will be very, very interesting.
Would you put Dantzler on Tyreek, or do you think he just get torched?
I mean, I don't see them just shadowing at all. I mean, quite honestly, they play this weird zone defense, so it's not like they're really shadowing.
It's so bad. I hate it.
Well, yeah, it doesn't work.
It doesn't
work. We were just talking about this, and you're the one saying that you think they could get better. I don't know how much better they can get. Their scheme.
Well, yeah, it can. If he makes some adjustments, I think it could get better.
Well, but sure as hell
zone scheme where you just leave the receiver wide open. It's just so stupid. I hate it.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think that leaving a receiver wide open isn't a great thing, but Ed Donatel seems stuck in his ways.
And against this team especially, I mean, this is huge.
Yeah, you can't.
Huge. I mean,
you can't let these two receivers on Miami get the ball in open space, because that will absolutely torch this defense. But on the other side of the ball, the Vikings.
Yeah. One more thing. I don't really know what would work more against Tyreek. Would it be physical, hard like Dantzler, or someone who's probably a little faster like Pat Pete? I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. Not much works. I mean, Tyreek's one of the best in the NFL. It's not like many teams shut him down. I'd say honestly, maybe this defensive scheme will be decent against these guys, because it doesn't really allow them to get behind them. I mean, they haven't allowed too many long balls besides that Mooney one-hander and that one in the Eagles game.
But let me say, we haven't played any teams with any dynamic receivers other than the Eagles, and there was a long ball in that game.
Yeah, and Jared Goff shredded us.
That's true.
The Saints didn't. I mean, Olave, I think he had a good game. Did he have over 100 yards?
He did. I think he had a touchdown, but I don't think he had a ton of yards.
But either way, the other side of the ball, the Vikings offense should be really good. I think the Dolphins against the quarterbacks are like 29th in the league or something.
Oh, good.
So,
I love hearing that.
Yeah, Kirk should have a heyday if he wants to. JJ, if Xavier Howard, that's a big if. If he plays, that is a difference maker. If he doesn't, I mean, we should put up at least 30 points. The team hasn't put up 30 points
Howard?
yet. Oh, he's one of the best.
Howard?
He's one of the best DBs in the entire league. He's the Dolphins. I think he's hurt right now. He's questionable to play. If he plays, that's a big factor. If he doesn't play,
well,
this
I don't really read too much into that because if you look at some of the teams that the Dolphins have played this year, they've gotten torched at receiver. Torched.
Yeah, I mean they've played some decent teams. The one team they did
look at the Ravens. The Ravens had some huge plays.
They somehow shut down the Bills. I mean, they only allowed like 15 points, I think.
Well, Diggs still had a day, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't think so.
No. Well,
but
I'm not concerned with this. I'm not concerned about this Howard guy. Hopefully not.
Yeah, I mean he's good. I think he's led the league in interceptions before, so he's.
Well, what happened to him last year, or what happened to him last week? Did he get hurt?
Yeah, you didn't play.
Great.
Yeah. So,
well, what does he have? Do you know?
I'll do a little Xavier Howard research here. Let's see. Well, Xavier Howard. I'm surprised you never heard of him.
Yeah, never heard.
Dolphins injury updates to a tongue by law. Xavier Howard. Miami Dolphins still uncertain at cornerback with Xavier Howard, but Jones is out. So they're still uncertain with him.
So meaning he probably won't play.
Yeah, I don't know. But either way, the Vikings are I think they're favored in this game, aren't they? We
are by 3. Are we back on JJ 2K watch?
I mean, the fact that he's leading the league in receiving yards and he had like a freaking 15-yard game and a 48-yard game is pretty bonkers.
So are we back on watch?
It could be, yeah. Yeah.
I think we are. Because like I said, the Saints game, I think we talked about it on the podcast, or maybe we just texted about it. It didn't feel like JJ had that like loud of a game, and he had like 147 yards.
Yeah.
And that was against the Saints. And it's like, it just like kind of shows like, I think he can do it every week. There's still plays where he's open and Kirk, doesn't find him. I think he can put up 150 every single week.
It's the weeks where they don't double him, aka that Saints week. They had Marshawn Lattimore on him, and JJ just shredded him. It's the weeks that they double and triple him.
If he can shred Lattimore, I think he'll be able to shred this Howard guy.
Well, it might not have to do with that. It's the scheme. Like against the Lions defense isn't good, but
that quarterback is good. Okudah, he's good.
Lattimore is better than Jeff Okudah at this point. But my point is, they freaking double and triple teamed him all the time in that game, and there's a reason he only had like 3 catches. So that's enough. Let's talk about the Wolves because the Wolves are a positive.
One more thing on that. Mm-hmm. If they do that, if they double him, that would be stupid of the other team because we'll just find Thielen and Osborne, and then we'll win. Yeah, which is what we've shown we can do.
Yeah, if I was a defense, I'd double him. If you just he can shred your team and win a game for you.
Yeah, so can our other receivers. They'll be wide open.
Yeah, but I'd rather JJ, or if I was a defense, I'd rather have Thielen and Osborne kill me than Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I'm just hoping for them not to double team.
Correct.
I want him to get 2K, and I want him to get Offensive Player of the Year. I think they're both in reach.
They are both in reach. Cooper Kupp's having a good year, but if the Rams suck, then he's probably not going to win it.
Correct.
So the Timberwolves are 3-0 in the preseason. You've watched the games, I know, because you've been
Every game.
texting me. You've been texting me during the games.
I
They
didn't
beat.
watch the Clippers one as much, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I watched, or they played the. Who'd they play first game? I don't
The
even
Heat,
remember.
Miami.
Okay, they played the Heat, then they played the Lakers and the Clippers. The Heat game, Jimmy Butler didn't play. Everybody else played for the Heat. The Lakers game, not a soul played. And
Not a single person.
the
Not a single
Clippers,
player.
the Clippers game, everybody played for the Clippers. And the Wolves are 3-0. And the Wolves have yet to have Cat and Rudy play together.
Which it's bothersome that's.
I think it would be. Yeah, you're cutting out here. You're cutting out there. I didn't get a single word you said. But I think a good thing we could do here with this Wolves team is go through the players and our thoughts on what we've seen throughout the preseason.
Yes, I like that. The one thing I was going to say, it cut out, was I would like them to get as many reps as possible in games before the opening night.
Yeah, my guess is that they both play tomorrow night against the Lakers, and then they both play Friday night against Brooklyn.
Yeah.
If not, they will for sure both play Friday night against Brooklyn at home. But tomorrow night, I'd say there's a 70% chance they do. I just think they have to get at least a game.
It's more than that. I think it's probably 90% chance.
Yeah. Well, let's hope they play because it'll be fun to watch them play. No, everybody's been waiting for it. The time has come next week, Wednesday. Wolves play against the Thunder at home in the preseason opener. Let's go through a bunch of the players that have played in the preseason. We'll give our quick thoughts on each player. Let's start with Jalen Noel. Your first thoughts on Jalen Noel in this preseason, and then I'll talk about him.
Good. I think he's going to have a really good season off the bench. He's really good in the mid-range. He can score.
Yeah.
Just really happy with what I'm seeing. I think he's probably I don't know. Is he our sixth man? I don't know. He might be.
No, Kyle Anderson will get more minutes.
Well, I think Noel's looked better so far, but I guess he's our seventh man.
Your prototypical sixth man is sort of like the Jalen Noel type, the Jamal Crawford, the Lou Williams, the Jordan Clarkson, the bucket off the bench. So Kyle Anderson doesn't really fit that mold, but Kyle Anderson will play more minutes than Jalen Noel, I believe.
Let's just say Noel is our sixth man for the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
He looks good.
Yes, he does look good. Real quick on Jalen Noel, it's never been his offense that's kept him off the floor. It's always been his defense. And honestly, it's hard for me to tell if he's gotten better at defense. I just don't think he's always been a bad defender. So that'll be interesting. Let's talk about D'Lo.
I don't think he's looked good. I don't.
I could have only guessed what you were going to say.
I'm just it's the same type of thing where he dribbles it up, does the dribble behind his back, and then he settles for the mid-range jumper that either goes off the top of the rim and straight down, or he airballs it, for God's sake. But yeah, he has not looked good. I'm hoping that he gets a lot better here.
You know what? I don't think you do hope he gets better. I'll give my 2 cents on D'Lo. I think him and Rudy is going to be it's going to take some games for them to get used to each other.
Yeah,
they will have to build a chemistry. It's not going to look pretty. I mean, from that Laker game when Rudy and D'Lo played, it was ugly, quite honestly. So it's going to take some time. My biggest hope this year for D'Lo
to be flawless right away.
Right.
It'll probably take a month.
I'm just hoping that D'Lo knocks down some shots this year. I hope he can be a 38% 3-point shooter. If he gets 38%, that'll be good. That is above average.
That's impossible. For one, that is impossible, and that will not happen. And two, as long as he doesn't shoot the ball 20 times a game, that's fine. If he can keep it under 15,
I don't think he will.
Well, that's a problem.
No, I said I don't think he will. I don't think he will.
If he can shoot it 12 to 14 times. What?
I said I don't think he will shoot it 20 times a game. Unless he's freaking...
Oh, good. Okay, that's good. He can't.
Unless he's steaming hot, which then I want him to because he can freaking get hot sometimes. But
what we can't have is we can't have the 3 for 14s, the 3 for 12s, the 4 for 16s, 5 for 18. That's not we can't have that.
Ant has shot more shots in every game this preseason. Well, D'Lo's only played in 2, but he's shot more than him in both. So
that's
that is
good.
a positive.
That is a positive, and that's how it should be the entire year. Every single game, he needs to shoot the most out of anybody. He
I am
he
high
needs
on
the ball in his
D'Lo.
hands the most of anybody.
I am
He
high
needs the
on
ball
D'Lo.
in his hands.
I am high on D'Lo. I am high on
that.
D'Lo this year because he and Rudy are going to build a chemistry that we haven't seen in a long time between a guard and a big. D'Lo and Cat have never built a chemistry. It's D'Lo plays so much better with rolling bigs. Cat is not that. He is a popper. Cat pops to the 3-point line, and then D'Lo, when he wants to drive to the rim or he wants to get his own shot, it's a one-on-one against somebody that probably guards D'Lo.
It doesn't go well.
Yeah.
It doesn't
so
go
D'Lo,
well.
if Rudy and D'Lo can build this chemistry, it will take a ton of pressure off D'Lo. It'll give him more options. Plus, then Ant's going to be open for a pass, and Cat's going to be open for a pass, and quite honestly, Jaden McDaniels will be open for a pass. So
Well,
this offense could be dangerous.
Back to the thing before. Who in the Clippers game? Who took more shots, Towns or Edwards?
Let's see. Anthony Edwards shot 15 times. Cat shot 11.
Okay, good. Let's keep this up.
You were thinking that Cat shot more, didn't you?
Sort of. Well, Edwards is number 1. Get it in his hands. Towns is 2. I don't even know what the third. I mean, would the third options be McDaniels? I don't know.
No, it's D'Lo. Okay, D'Lo's going to shoot the third most shots. It's going to happen because he does get a little shot happy sometimes. Let's move on to another player.
Just wait for my texts. You'll be seeing them after every missed shot.
We're going through the guards here. Some of these guys we don't have to talk a lot about. Jordan McLaughlin, I think he's looked phenomenal in his minutes that he's had.
It looks good.
His chemistry with Naz Reid is something that this team is, if they don't play it, they could miss at times. Naz Reid will get to him, but Jordan McLaughlin and Naz Reid have a special chemistry that's gone back to their days in the G League. If you don't watch a ton of Timberwolves basketball, you probably don't realize this stuff. But J-Mac is racking up the assists in these preseason games. He had like 4 steals in the first preseason game.
He's a good 9th man.
Yeah, he's a good backup guard. He's a solid backup guard. I won't go good. He's a solid guy you can rely on. And so I like J-Mac.
Not only that, but he doesn't get in anybody's way. He's not like demanding to get shots or anything like that. I think he's a good team player.
I want to see J-Mac get some minutes with Rudy because I feel like that could be a good combination.
Well, it's going to happen. I mean,
yeah,
Towns or Gobert are going to be on the floor the entire game. So, like,
yeah. But I mean
they will be out there. Chances are with him at some point.
They did say D'Lo was going to spend majority of time with Rudy, though, and I'm guessing D'Lo.
I know, but I don't even know if I believe that. I mean, everyone that's the plan now, but like it can change. Like, I don't know if I'd take too much stock into that.
We're going through the guards here. Austin Rivers, give me your thoughts.
I don't think he looks that good offensively.
Yeah.
Maybe he's doing well on defense.
He is.
Yeah, it's fine. He's probably a good leader too. I don't know. Brings the intensity.
Yeah.
Veteran.
Everything off the court has pointed towards him being a great locker room guy. You're right. If you just watch this game as an average fan, you'd probably be like, Austin Rivers, this guy just looks like trash. He's not doing anything. Well, he is a great defender. And if you listen to Chris Finch's press conference after the game, he, out of nowhere, brought up Austin Rivers, saying he had a phenomenal game. Now, Austin Rivers, if you look at his stat sheet, he had, I guess Clippers game, but this was after the Lakers game. He had 5 points on 2 of 4 shooting. That's nothing to behold with, right? Well, Chris Finch out of nowhere said Austin Rivers. I think Austin Rivers is going to get some playing time just based on the fact that he plays defense. And the question coming in is who's going to get that last spot? Is it going to be, or who's going to get that like guard spot? Jalen Noel, Austin Rivers, Bryn Forbes. And
what are you talking about? Guard spot? All three
Like
of those guys are going to play.
No, they won't. They can't.
Well, it's going to be Noel. Noel is the guy that's going to play.
No, I know. 2 of those 3 are going to play. There's one of them that's that's not going to play sometimes. So
I don't know. Then it'll be Forbes or Rivers, and probably Rivers will get the edge just because his name. But I don't know. I think Forbes will still play.
No, yeah, I agree. In terms of coming in, I thought the ranking was going to be Noel, Rivers, Forbes. Throughout this preseason, it's been Noel, Forbes, Rivers because
I
Forbes
agree with that. But you like you just
lightning.
said, Chris Finch loves what he brings. I'm telling you, there's no way Austin Rivers isn't going to get playing time. He's going to be out there.
Yeah, just let me finish real quick because Chris Finch has also talked about how they're and this is just how it's going to go. They're not just going to be set in their ways where like Austin Rivers, whoever is just not playing is not going to play for a month. I think Mike Nori talked about this. He had a press conference, one of their assistant coaches. They're going to swap in guys based on the opposition. So I think Bryn Forbes will play some nights. I think Rivers will play some nights. They both might play some nights. Jalen Noel will play every night. He's a bucket. Let's talk about Jaden McDaniels. I'll go first here. I think he has been solid. Nothing crazy. I think he's going to help Rudy a ton, his length. But honestly, he's been pretty quiet in this preseason. The question is whether he can knock down the corner 3-point shot, which it feels like, I haven't looked at stats, he went 2 for 2, and then 1 for 2, and then 1 for 4. So he's shooting the ball decently. If he can knock down the 3, that is another step. And that people talked about, will he take another step? That is a massive step. If he can be a high 30% 3-point shooter, last year he was low 30s. So that could be huge. What do you think about Jaden McDaniels?
I actually think he looks really, really good. He looks a lot bigger. Like it looks like he grew or something this offseason. Mm-hmm. He looks good. I think he's definitely going to take the leap. A lot better offensively than last year. And yeah, I just think I'm high on him. I think that there are a lot of people out there that are too high on.
You're cutting out.
Him for sure. Like he's I don't know, Scottie Pippen or something. Can you hear me? Can you hear me or what? What just happened?
No, it was buffering out.
No. Anyway,
I heard you say something about Jaden being like people are thinking he's gonna be Scottie Pippen.
Yeah, he could be to Ant's MJ, but yeah, I'm just kidding. But yeah, a lot of people are acting like he's going to be like a 20-point scorer this year, and he's just not. But he does look good. He looks like he's gotten
I don't think anybody thinks he's going to be a 20-point scorer. People do think he could be. Well,
it's just this is how some of the people on Twitter act. They act like McDaniels is just like such an offensive threat, and like he's good. I think he looks a lot better than he did last year, and he looks, like I said, he looks bigger. I think he's going to be a lot better.
I haven't seen all that much of the people saying that he could be an offensive threat. I think he could take a step forward. I think he could be a massive defensive threat and be the best player that Rudy Gobert has ever played with on the defensive end. That's a possibility. Let's move down the line here. Kyle Anderson, I think he's looked really good.
No, hold on. I think Edwards. Hold on. I think Edwards is a better defender than McDaniel.
Well, when Ant tries. I can't guarantee you that Ant's going to try every possession of every game as much as Jaden McDaniels will. And with the offensive load in this day and age in the NBA, with this offensive load that Ant's going to have to withhold compared to what Jaden has to do, Jaden is going to be a more complete defender just in terms of everyday basketball. Now, once we get to the playoffs,
well, this is what's going to happen. Edwards and Gobert will be on the all defense team this year.
If they do, I will be extremely impressed. Gobert will be. He always is. But Ant, I'll be very, very, very impressed because if you're on an all defensive NBA team, you're going out there every night. And if he makes an all defensive team, this team is probably the 1 seed, maybe the 2 seed. Because
Okay.
no, I'm serious. If he is that good defensively, this team is one of the probably top 2 defensive teams in the NBA, and their offense is going to be good. Yeah. They are probably a top 3 team in the entire NBA. If Anthony Edwards, that's a statement right there. If he is an all defensive player, that changes everything for this team.
Yeah,
it really does. We'll get more into Ant in a second, but Kyle Anderson, I think he's looked good. If you look at his numbers, he's putting up rebounds and assists, not scoring much, but that's the type of guy he is. He's a glue guy. We don't need to talk much about him. He's going to be a solid role player for this team.
Yeah, I think he's looked fine. He has not hit a lot of shots, like you just said.
Yeah, he never
but
really
I'm not worried about it. But honestly, I didn't love him on Memphis last year. I was kind of happy when he got the ball to shoot because I knew he would miss. But yeah, I think he's going to be good for us. Good. I keep bringing up locker room, but I feel like he'll be a good locker room guy, good leader. Yeah, I think that was a good signing, and I think he'll be a good glue guy to have for sure.
Yeah. Taurean Prince, he has been a bright spot this preseason. He's been really, really good in a lot of areas. A lot how I expected him to be. I think TP is going to play a big role on this team. He's sort of a Kyle Anderson. They're kind of similar just in terms of the role they're going to play. Off the bench, well-versed, good locker room guys. So I think TP's good. Do you have anything on Taurean Prince or no?
I think he looks really good.
All right.
What is he, our 8th? No, is he our 8th man?
Yeah, it probably goes Kyle Anderson, Jalen Noel, Taurean Prince, Jordan McLaughlin.
Yeah.
And then either Brent Forbes or Austin Rivers, and then Naz Reid.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to Naz soon. Let's talk about Cat. Cat only played that one game. I thought he was rusty in the first quarter. You're cutting out. He was rusty in the first quarter. And then as what'd you say?
I didn't say anything. It was buffering. Are you talking about Cat?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cat played in one game. I will. Cat played in one game. First quarter, he was very rusty. You could tell. But as the game went on, he looked like his normal self as the game went on. He does look lighter, which you could tell in the first quarter when in the first quarter when him and Naz were out there. Those guys used to be sort of big. Now they're not. Naz has lost weight. Cat has lost weight. So you could tell when those guys play together, which they rarely ever do play together. But just in terms of how they are, as their bodies are, Cat is smaller. And I think that's good. With him playing with Rudy now, I think that's good. Cat needs to be smaller and more agile, but his shot still goes in, which is good.
Okay. I don't know if it's necessarily that great of a thing for him to just be this lean player all of a sudden, because his body is not like the guy who's going to be dribbling up and down and like going through guys. I mean, he's still big, you know?
Yeah, I mean, but I think it's better for him the way he's going to play this year. He's going to be moving around more. I'd rather have him be, I don't know how much he weighs, but I think it's like 219. I'd rather him be 219
that is too light.
Than 240. Why? What does he need weight for?
He's too tall and he's athletic, but he's not explosive. I think that's like an injury waiting to happen when it's like this.
Well, that could be true, but in terms of being more agile, I think it's smart. I think it's smart, and let's just hope he doesn't get hurt. Cat only played one game. We don't need to talk much about him.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He looked good. The first 5 minutes of that game was absolutely horrendous. He looked
everybody
so bad.
Played horrible.
Everyone looked bad, but I was like, what is he doing?
He was dribbling up the court, and then they just took the ball from him one time. He is like, what the hell? Let's talk about Naz real quick. Naz, first game was not great. The last 2 games, especially against the Clippers, he was really good. Naz was great. But this is a common theme with him.
Like 30 minutes.
No, this is a common theme with him. He has always been able to dominate backup smaller bigs. He has always been able to do that. The reason he struggled against the Heat because he's going against Bam Adebayo, and the reason he struggled early in the game against the Clippers because he's going against, well, I don't know who Marcus Morris probably, but point is Nas always struggles against backup bigs or starting bigs, and he does really well against backups. Like when they play the Thunder in the past, he's always killed them because they just don't have a big to because he's super quick and he knows how to finish around the rim, so he can sort of punish people that aren't as big as him. Unlike Cat doesn't know how to punish people around the rim, but
You should,
Nas is not. Yeah, Nas is going to struggle for playing time. I know you haven't been high on Nas this preseason. Why?
no. I just don't. Because one, I think he takes too many shots for one, and two, he's actually not bad at 3-point shooting. I think he's like weaker, like in the post, trying to do stuff. But I might be wrong. I could be totally off on that.
Wrong.
But yeah, I think that he is fine. I'm not chomping at the bit to get him for playing time. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, he's going to
probably only
struggle to
play if
get playing
Cat's in
time.
foul trouble, right? He'll be like
Yeah.
foul trouble Cat.
There might be one in every 5 games where he gets 10 minutes, but I don't think he touches the court all that often unless they get in foul trouble.
And that's fine. I mean, I like Nas. He was an important player last year. And like I said, he's young, so he'll get better. But
he's sort of expendable. I mean, they're kind of wasting. If he doesn't play much this year, they're sort of like he could play on a team this year in the NBA, like the Thunder or the Rockets,
Jazz.
one of these bad teams. He could play on these teams and like rack up, I don't know, 17 points a game if he had playing time.
He cannot get 17 points a game.
If he was a starter,
I thought you were going to say like 14, and I was like, maybe.
It's not that big of a difference.
Let's
call it 15.5 points a game. If he played 34 minutes for the Jazz per game, he could score 16 to 17 points a game pretty easily.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
I mean, he's pretty well-rounded scorer. He could score on the outside and the inside. He's not a bad offensive player. It's just he struggles against big guys. I think he's a better player as a power forward, which for years we've talked about. Yeah. We've talked about Cat and Nas playing together. Chris Finch always says he loves it, but they played like 11 total minutes together last year, and it didn't work. So that's
it doesn't
enough
work. That is not what you want. You do not want those two on the floor at the same time.
Well, do you want Cat and Rudy together?
Ooh,
in terms of playing type, you'd think Nas and Cat would work great, and Rudy and Cat wouldn't.
Shoot, I can't believe I just said that. Honestly,
well, we're gonna see, and if it don't work, we traded our franchise for this guy, so it better work.
Well, that's fine. He's gonna help out defensively. I don't care.
No, I know it's gonna work. This offense is gonna be lethal, and the defense is gonna be lethal. This team's gonna be good. Let's talk about there's Rudy real quick. He played in one game.
Looked good. I was happy. I was happy with how it was. He didn't need the ball. He was not that involved in offense, which I love, and he was good on defense. He was rebounding. Perfect.
Yeah, he was rebounding every single rebound. He had like, how many rebounds did he have? 1 million rebounds. 16 minutes, 12 rebounds. So yeah, that's what you get from Rudy Gobert.
And we don't need anything else. We don't need him for offense, Like
we talked about D'Lo and his chemistry, but again, that will be a big part in how much Rudy is involved in the offense, whether that chemistry, how quickly it turns, because it will at some point, in my opinion. Those two will figure it out, and Rudy will get more touches on offense just based on the pick and roll and stuff and putbacks and stuff like that. But at the beginning of the season, I don't see him getting up a bunch of points. I think he will rack up rebounds, though. I'll be interested to see how many rebounds a game Cat gets. He's always been like a 10, 11 guy.
Too. I was thinking about that.
I don't know how many rebounds. Yeah.
Maybe 8. Maybe 8. Yeah. 7.
I mean, he'll play plenty of minutes without Rudy, so he'll probably get rebounds then. Yeah,
that's true.
I'd say 8, 9 rebounds. We haven't last player, and then we'll shut her down. Anthony Edwards.
What I mean, good. What else is there to say? he should have the ball in his hands always.
I've never heard somebody so goddamn high I mean, you text me almost daily saying, I think Anthony Edwards, he might win an MVP. I mean, Anthony
I
Edwards
never
this
said
year is
that.
an MVP.
I never said that.
But you text me daily on the daily.
No,
A
I never
hyped
said
Anthony
that.
Edwards text.
I never said that. But that's like a given.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying you're as high on him, and I am super high, but you're even higher on Anthony
Yeah,
Edwards.
that's because the fate of the franchise is in his hands, championships.
Yeah. If he scores 23 points a game this year with 6 rebounds, is that a disappointment for you?
Yes. That means he did not get the ball enough.
Well, what if he gets 23 points a game on worse shooting percentage than last year?
Well, that's not going to happen.
Well, it could. I mean, it could.
No.
I agree it's not going to happen because he's a better shooter now, but you just never know.
This is my line. I'm going to guess 20, 26, 6, and 5.
Yeah, I'm really hoping his rebounding numbers go up. And it's
What was it
going to be
last
tough.
year?
It's going to be tough because Rudy is now there, but he's talked about
No,
how much
I
he
mean,
wants
it could
to rebound.
be tough, but no, he's assertive. I don't think that he's going to,
He averaged 4.8 rebounds a game.
Yeah, that'll go up.
Yeah,
And
I
honestly,
hope it goes
his
up a little.
assist numbers, now those could really rise.
Yeah.
He is playmaking out
yeah.
there.
Yeah, he still has to get better at like posting up. If they ever do that, he had one post up against the Clippers, and it was gross. He for some reason his touch on like floaters is some of the worst I've seen.
No,
did you notice that?
I know, but it's gotten better. It's gotten better. That's what he worked on.
I haven't. Well, he hasn't done it at all, really. But like, I've never seen a player.
Well, he said that that's an area that he wanted to improve on.
Well, we'll see if it gets better. He hasn't done it at all in this preseason. But point finishing, I don't mean like layups. I mean like 4 feet from the rim, floater, or a little turnaround J from 4 feet. He can't do it. I've never seen someone look more uncomfortable. And that's not a huge part of the game, so that's a good thing because he doesn't have to do that much. But my God, is he bad at it? He's airballed.
What's your prediction for his stat line?
I'm gonna say 25, 5.5 rebounds and 4 assists.
Okay. Is he an all-star?
Yeah. What is your?
Do you think Cat and Rudy also make it?
One of the two will. Remember when the Hawks had like freaking 5 guys in the All-Star game?
Yeah,
like
that won't be
6 years ago.
It's not gonna happen.
It'll be Ant and
it'll be Ant and Cat probably,
and maybe D'Lo.
It'll be Cant, Ant, Gobert. Oh my gosh, it'll be Ant and probably Towns.
Yeah,
but we got to win.
Anything else before we head out?
Yeah. What's your prediction for? What's your prediction for Cat stat line, Rudy stat line, and D'Lo stat line? Give me all 3. We heard Ants.
Just off the top of the head, Cat 23, 8 and 3. Rudy 13, 14 and 3. D'Lo 18, 9, and I don't know how many rebounds he usually gets, like 3 or 4.
I agree with 9. But I don't know about 18. I think maybe like 16. But I think his assists will be way up.
I think he's going to get more open shots within the mid-range. I do.
Okay.
So I think he makes more. Like, he might not have to shoot more. I think he makes more this year. So I'll give him 18 a game.
So what's seed? What's our seed?
I'm
right now I have us as a 4 seed.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
I think that's very reasonable because I think
Maybe
they could be
3.
better.
Maybe
And
a
I
3
think they
seed.
could be like 6, but I think there's a better chance they're higher than 4 than worse.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
All right. Appreciate everybody listening. Vikings this weekend, the Wolves next week. Preseason home opener at Target Center on Friday night against the Nets. Please like and subscribe to the JT Sports Show. But besides that, follow us on all social media platforms. And as I always say, tell a friend, tell a family member. But we gone.